I think our audio system is a little bit on the fritz, but I hope everybody can hear me, especially in the back. First off, welcome to Westmore Central. Welcome to Sophomore Information Night. It's good to see the room pretty full. I know it's not easy to come out on, especially a weeknight, middle of the week, tough time, prime dinner time. I get that. So I appreciate you being here. We have some really good info to share, and I'm excited to share it with you. My name's Tim Reimer. I'm the proud principal here at Westmore. Thrilled to be here with you, and thrilled to share not only this info, but our team here with you to share some important information. During the next 90 minutes, you're going to hear from Mr. Ferreri. Our Director of School Counseling will share some information regarding testing, career exploration, and scheduling. Mrs. Johnson, Mrs. Feltman, our IB coordinators, along with some of our IB students, seated here in the VIP section, right here in front of me. We'll share some more information related to the IB at Westmore. Finally, Mr. Ferreri will return to the podium to guide you through the college admission process. Before turning the program over to Mr. Ferreri, I'd like to actually remove my principal hat for a minute and put on my parent hat, if that's okay with everybody in the room. My wife and I are long-term residents of Chester Township and have raised 3 boys in this district. Not so long ago, both my wife and I were sitting exactly where you guys are right now. My oldest son is a graduate of Mendham High School and midway through his sophomore year at Ithaca College. While at Mendham, he completed the IB career program and chose the visual arts and performing arts pathway. If he were here tonight, he could attest to the fact that upon completion of the IBCP, he arrived to Ithaca better prepared for college-level studies than his non-IB peers. My other 2 sons are high school seniors, one at Mendham and one right here at Westmore Central. Both are in their second and final years of the IBCP, one completing the business pathway, and the other completing the life and health sciences pathway. They are living the college admission process as we speak with the help of these individuals. As IBCP candidates, I can confidently say that each of them has had an advantage over their non-IB applicants. Simply put, the IB has set my kids apart from their peers. Now putting my principal hat back on, please understand that the IB is not for every student. As you and your child determine the most appropriate academic path in high school, I do encourage you to consider all options with an open mind. Tonight you'll hear about many, many, many of those options. As you move through the process, please know that our team at West Morris of teachers, counselors, and support staff are here to assist you in any way they can. Thank you again for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoy the presentation. Over to you, Mr. Ferreri.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. I'm just going to talk really loud, try to avoid this microphone. So first, I just want to start off by giving you an update on some things that you can expect or have already gone through in your sophomore year. I too have a sophomore daughter out where we live in Pennsylvania, and obviously one of the big moments this year in her life and in my life is that she got her driver's permit recently. So in sophomore year, all your students are going to take driver's education. For those of you who haven't had the joy of a young driver permit for the first time, good luck. My car is the one plastered with student driver stickers. Please be patient on the back bumper as she drives on highways and gets honked at endlessly. Earlier this year, in October, the sophomores took a pre-ACT. Those results should be in before the winter break. We will review those results, the counselors will review those results with your students in what we call the sophomore conference that will take place in January. During that sophomore conference, we will give you an introduction into the college admissions process, as well as map out your next 2 years of high school. And that's really the focus of tonight's presentation, is to talk about those next 2 years and what academic program is best suited for your students' needs. Also, to the bottom right there is a picture. That's a career fair, in case you couldn't tell. It looked better than the words career fair. We will have career exploration over the course of the sophomore year. In fact, the counselors are going into classes tomorrow and Friday to do a career interest inventory. And then we will review those results with you during that sophomore conference also. And that will help kind of guide the conversation of, what college should we be looking for, what major might I be interested, what program might be best suited for me. So that's coming up really, really quickly here. Okay, so real quick, the reason we're putting such an emphasis on planning the next 2 years is this. This chart here is the most recent survey results from the National Association of College Admission Counseling. And by the way, everything that you see up here is going to be posted on our website and will be emailed out to you so that you can view it at your leisure. They've done this every year for the past 25 years. There was a little break during the pandemic as the colleges were kind of resetting their admissions offices. So this is the most recent one after the pandemic. And you can look at the top 3 things that they look for. Your grades in your college prep courses. So that's the big 5 core areas, right? English, math, history, science, world language. Second thing is your overall grades, right? Now we take the electives into account. And the third thing, and there's really, not much of a disparity, the third thing is strength of high school curriculum. Are you taking the most rigorous program that you are able to handle? What one person is able to handle is going to be different from what another person, and that's fine. The point is, we want to take a program that challenges us and also meets the needs of our interests. So that's really going to be, again, the focus of this evening. In that sophomore conference, the counselors will review with you your graduation progress. What classes have you taken thus far to meet your graduation requirements? What is still outstanding for you? And so you can map that out. But I wanted to show you this. For those of you thinking of moving on to a 4-year college or university, you'll note that in the district, we only require 15 credits. That's 3 years of a math. But if you want to go to college, if you want to go to a 4-year school, right, you're going to be taking a 4-year progression in math. I've also noted this is Montclair State, UNC Chapel Hill. Difference in terms of rigor, but you can see here as you move along that while you may be meeting graduation requirements, we are also going to be really making sure that based on the college you might be interested in, based on what you may think you want to do, are you taking the best program to get you ready for that? So that's something to keep in the back of your mind. Much of the evening's focus tonight will be on our 2 IB programs, the IB Career-Related Program and the IB Diploma Program. And I'm going to turn this over to Mrs. Feltman and Mrs. Johnson in a minute. But there are a couple other programs I just want you to be aware of. If you decide that one of the IB programs isn't for you, there are other opportunities for you. Please note that essentially all the classes you are taking are college prep. Okay? Everything that you take here, whether it's in the IB program or not, is preparing you for success at a 4-year college or university. So keep that in mind. So if you feel that that's the pathway that's best for you, so be it. We also offer some AP courses. So if you feel strong in a particular subject area, you can choose to take an AP course and take the AP assessment at the end of the year, potentially earn some college credit as well. So that option is there. Up above are some other options that are available. Not too many students take advantage of, but it does meet the needs for some. We have a work-based learning program, which means you could have the opportunity to go to school and then part of the time go and work, have a supervisor here at the school view that, review your work, supervise you, observe you, and you will get credit for that towards your high school graduation. That's called our work-based learning program. If anyone is interested in that, please reach out to your counselor and they'll connect you with the folks that head those programs. There's also programs at Hunterdon County Polytech and Morris County School of Technology. Those are shared time programs where if you're looking for a more hands-on experience, whether it be carpentry, plumbing, electricity, automotive repair, cosmetology, things of those sort. Those programs are available at those locations. Students who have done that in the past have had great experiences and really come back well prepared for their next step in their careers after high school. Questions about anything I've gone over thus far? Okay, so again, at this point, I'm going to turn the program over to Mrs. Feltman and Mrs. Johnson, and they're going to review with you the IB career-related program and the diploma program, and I'll be back to you talking about some college in a little bit. Thank you.
Careful, of course. I know. Hi. Thank you so much for coming tonight. My name is Galen Johnson. I am the Diploma Program Coordinator. And I'm Erin Feltman. That's working. I'm Erin Feltman, and I am the IB Career-Related Program Coordinator. Right. Okay, I don't think that's working, so I'm just going to step away from it, and I'll use my very loud teacher voice, so I hope that you can hear me. So we are an IB world school. What does that mean? That means that we've taken the IB philosophy on education, we've taken the IB curriculum, and we embed it in all of our academic classes. Whether they are labeled with those two little letters, IB or not, the philosophy remains the same. Okay? It's a really nice balance of content, okay, and increasing knowledge and increasing understanding in our students in the different subject areas, and then balancing that with skill development alongside it. In addition, you see this little sphere over here, the circle, I guess two-dimensional is the circle, right? So circle on the side here, this is the IB learner profile. And to me, as an educator and as a parent, I have 3 little ones of my own, they're getting bigger every day, I can't believe it. This is a wish list, right? These are the skills that we want our kids to have, whether I'm talking about my kids in the classroom or my kids that live with me at home. I want my kids to emerge into the world after Westmore Central High School with some of these traits having been developed. Some are going to shine brighter than others depending on the kid. But if you look at them, things like being an effective communicator, being able to share their ideas in a way that is clear and meaningful to other people, being a better thinker, a deeper thinker, being balanced is something that I'm currently working on, as an adult still, right? How do we balance our interest areas? How do we balance our responsibilities and do it in a way that allows us to explore new things and also get really strong and really better and hone our interest areas in other avenues of our life? Do you want to jump in? Sure. Yeah? Okay. So what do students gain from the IB programs that we have? So we have a couple, IB collects data. It is an international program. It stands for International Baccalaureate. So some of these statistics, as you can see, are from all over the world. This first one here is for UK students. A-levels are most similar to what we have here as like AP classes. The DP, so the DP program, as you can see on this chart, right, this is from college admissions officers in the UK. Students that do the DP, encouraging independent inquiry, nurturing an open mind, developing self-management skills, and encouraging a global outlook. You can see just those skills really skyrocket with our IB programs. As well, here we have critical thinking ability. So this was done in Australia, England, and Norway. And then here we can see with the CP, we have the US specifically in this one. And so this is IB students, DP and career-related program students, in terms of their global mindedness. You can see it's much higher for our students that are in our IB programs. So those are just some of the, in addition to what Mrs. Feldman just spoke about. And then in addition to that, in terms of just our building, what do students gain from the IB? Well, they have the support and guidance from the IB coordinators, the supervisors that they will have for their various projects within the programs. We also host writers' workshops, field trips. The CP does an amazing career pathway speaker series.
And one of the things that I can really speak to, because I'm a graduate of West Morris Central and I have an IB diploma myself, one of the most beneficial things for me was joining that community of learners and feeling really involved with my peers and my classmates in those courses, really developing these skills together.
So I just want to add, I'm also a graduate of West Morris. I also live in town, and I have had the opportunity to teach at a couple of other really great school districts before I came here. But one of the reasons that I was excited to come back here was the IB diploma program. We didn't have CP at the time, but one of the ways that we as teachers and as educators can help to build up the critical thinking skills is by building in more time for it, essentially. So if you look at the curriculum, I teach psychology, so I can speak about that subject area. AP psychology, for example, is going to be maybe 13, 15 chapters, right, of material, whereas IB psychology is going to be about half that content, so the curriculum is shorter, which means we have more time to work on essay writing, to work on skill development, to work on the analysis of research, and things that are going to help widen that skill set that's relevant in that subject area. So that's one of the ways, like if you're looking at those statistics, wondering, well, how does that happen? It's not just that we're looking for those skills happening, we're building them into our lessons and allowing for the time for students to really dig into that. And it's a long process, right? But by the end of an IB course, by the end of 2 years of an IB course, that skill set is so highly developed in so many of our kids, and it's an amazing thing to see. You know, as a teacher and as an educator, I've got kids who walk into my psychology class and they don't know anything about it, because most kids don't take psychology, you know, before they walk into my classroom. But by the end of it, they're discussing not only the methods, not only the theories, but how to evaluate a research study, how to apply it, potential questions, areas that are still unanswered, with this mindset for continuing to develop their interest area, you know, in that particular topic. So when I had the opportunity to get involved in the IBCP, I was so excited to do so because I had been teaching IB psychology, and I knew that this was a program that was going to make IB available for more kids in our school district. Okay, so the way that it does that is by really honing in on career pathway interest areas, okay, and gives kids the opportunity to explore a different pathway, which I'll talk about in a minute, and dive in and see if it's a great fit for them. We have a wide range of student academic levels, I would say, represented in that program. I have kids that sophomore year are not sure if they ever want to take an IB class that are in this program, who by the end of it, their junior year, their senior year, they're like, maybe I can add another one actually. That wasn't what I thought it was going to be, right? And then I have other kids in the program who can probably take all IB level courses because they're able to do that academically, right? So there's a wide range in there, and it allows for a lot of kids, you know, to try something out that maybe they would or maybe they would not have done before. So the goals of this particular program are going to be to encourage kids to try out almost like a concentration, you know, before they go off to college and they choose a major. Oh, thank you. That's so much better. Okay, I can breathe now. So when I was a sophomore, a couple years ago, many years ago, fine, decades ago, okay? It was a really long time ago. I had zero idea what I wanted to do, okay? My father worked in pharmaceutical finance area. I probably couldn't even tell you exactly what he did. My mother did not work outside of the home, so my main exposure to jobs was what my dad did, right? And so I thought I would go into business. That makes sense, right? We model what we see. And I really liked commercials at the Super Bowls, you know, commercials and snacks. Like, those are my things for the Super Bowl. And I loved talking about them, and I loved trying to figure out what makes a memorable commercial. I would have these conversations with anybody who would talk to me about it. So I went off to Rutgers, I took some undergrad courses, and I started fulfilling all the requirements that I needed to apply to the Rutgers Business School. And then I sat down and I had to write my essay, why do you want to be a part of the Rutgers Business School? And I was like, oh man, I don't think I want to do that anymore. So that's not uncommon, right? How many of us change our majors? Siri should be off probably. So we see this happening all the time, right? Changing majors, changing interest areas. If I had done this program when I was here, I maybe would have made that decision earlier. If I had taken a business class, if I had taken an actual marketing class, if I had taken an econ class, I would have known that to major in business probably wasn't going to suit me. It wasn't going to, really pique my interest and carry me through the rest of my life. I consider myself so incredibly fortunate to get to come here every day and work with these kids and teach psychology and run this program, but it took me a while to get there. This program helps kids get there faster because they explore it while they're here instead of doing it when they go away to school or waiting to do that there, right? Saving time and credit hours and frustration, okay? So that's, to me, probably the most important goal, is to get kids exposed to different career opportunities in some way, shape, or form. And that's not just going to happen in their classes. It's also going to happen through the core components that we'll talk about. Every IB program, we have two, okay, make it sound so big. The two programs both have not only courses that students will take, but a core component to it. And these are the additionals, these are the extras that kids are engaging in and completing. These are the additional requirements for that program, okay? But they add a lot of depth to that exploration. So it's different than just taking the courses. This leads to an identity as a learner. Like, I have kids in this program who know what they want to do, at least they think that they do, and it's different than they, were feeling when they walked in that door. And then I have other kids who totally change their mind, and that's fine. Okay, I consider that growth, because if you take something off of your plate, then you are closer to figuring out what you want to do. Okay, so I think the CP kids that I have here tonight are not the ones who have totally flipped the switch and been like, yeah, I thought I wanted to be an engineer, definitely don't, after taking that. But I have that conversation with my kids too, right? Becoming an active participant in your community. That can be your learning community, that can be your local community, that might even be an international community for some of the kids that are in these programs. And of course, building on effective communication and research skills. So we'll talk a little bit more about how those things are achieved. This is just a quick slide that I wanted to put in here to bring back to how we're exposing kids to additional opportunities. About 2 weeks ago, right? It was 2 weeks ago. We had a career pathway speaker series. We had about 24 different professionals that came in, met with the kids that are in the CP. Students got to sit down for about half an hour with different professionals. We had pediatric nurses, we had physical therapists, we had different kinds of engineers, and they got to ask them questions, and they got to hear about what's new and upcoming in that career pathway or that interest area. And I think, maybe the kids will talk a little bit about that tonight. But one of the extras, one of the things that we're doing to, again, just expose people to different ideas, different career opportunities that are out there. There's a pretty good chance that the kids here are going to graduate and go into a job that hasn't even been named yet. Like, it's not even been developed yet, right? So exposing them to ideas and what's up and coming is really important. The jobs that I would talk to my kids about are old, like they're old school, right? And by the time they graduate, they'll be on to different things. So staying current and staying on trend by pulling people in who are actually in those interest areas is something that we're committed to. This is a quick snapshot overview, okay, of the different requirements for the IBCP. We're going to talk about all of them, so I'm not going to spend too much time right here. But when you're thinking about the IBCP, you should know that there are coursework requirements, there are testing requirements, and then there are IB core requirements. So we're going to talk about the core requirements. Actually, you're going to get to hear the kids talk about the core requirements. And then I'll circle back and talk about the coursework. The IB exams is something that we'll circle back to later on as well. But students in the IBCP must take 2 IB exams while they are in the program, so junior or senior year. And one of them has to be senior year. So again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, I'm gonna have Jamie Ryan come on up here and talk a little bit about personal professional skills. Come on up here, Jamie. This is the first IBCP core requirement.
Thank you. So basically what PPS is it's a class that is 1 out of the 4 days of our schedule. So basically the schedule here is just like a 4-day rotation every week. So you're pulled out of the gym class or health class, depending on whatever you have at the time. And so you're with like a smaller group of kids, like last year my class I think was 8 people. So it's like super intimate and you're really like building with these kids like throughout the entire year. So like what do you do in this class? So basically this class is just to build those professional skills that you won't usually get to build until you're like in college or even out of college. So some of the things that you learn is like how to speak in front of crowds, how to interview, which is like a really big thing that I feel like I wouldn't have gotten to learn elsewhere until I got into college and got into like an internship. One of my favorite activities that we did last year was actually the public speaking assignment. So we got to, with the kids in our class, we got to play games and kind of get used to speaking in front of crowds and used to getting able to speak when you have no plan and just quick thinking on your feet. This was like a really big thing for me because I used to be really terrible at it, and this program was a way for me to do that. Another thing that Ms. Veltman touched on earlier was the speaker series. I want to go into nursing, so I'm in the life and health sciences pathway, and I got to talk to a pediatric nurse at CHOP, which is a pretty big deal. And talking to her made me realize just how much I want to be a nurse because she was super inspirational. She loved what she did. She really connected with us, and I even like have her contact information, and I'm able to contact her anytime I want. Again, this is another opportunity that I would not have had elsewhere, and I'm really grateful for that experience. This class is just an extra part of, I think it's like the IBCP core, but it's really something that you take away from the school, and you can't really experience it elsewhere. It's going to be something that only the IBCP kids get to do, and you get to really form bonds with these people, and you get to learn from them, and you get to even learn more about yourself, which is like a really cool thing that you get to do. So,
Great. Good job, Jamie. Good job. Yeah, I have a lot of kids who come in, they're nervous about public speaking. I tell them I am too, and you just get better at it by doing it over and over again. One of my favorite little stories is when someone like Jamie, shares that she didn't like to talk in front of people, she didn't think she was good at it, and then they actually get up in front of all of you, which is maybe really intimidating for a young person, right? And they do it so well. So yeah, it is definitely a great experience. I like to think of it as, a space for developing skills that are going to be important in any kind of work that you do, whether that's in school, outside of school, building relationships, things like that. We have a lot of discussion about ethical issues and so on and so forth. Service Learning Project is going to be our next core component. Garrett Crisp, that's you, right? There we go. Thanks, Garrett.
Hi, my name is Garrett Crisp. I'm part of the IBCP program here, and specifically I'm part of the Life and Health Sciences here. Like Jamie, I know exactly what I want to do. Fortunately, I broke my leg my sophomore year and spent a lot of time in physical therapy, and I kind of fell in love with the whole environment of it. So being part of the Life and Health Sciences pathway, it was great for me because I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and knowing that I had a chance to get a leg up on other students was something that was really appealing to me. Also, you know, you gotta balance a lot of work with the IBC program, and when you get the opportunities like we do, it's a lot, but it makes it good. Like the puzzle pieces said in the beginning, being a risk taker and having to balance work is something that's really important, and I don't really do well sitting around doing nothing, so having something to always kind of be doing, involved with the community is great. Specifically about the SLP, it's a great way for the students to get involved with the community. Right here, this is Sarah's Fight for Hope. We did a Powder Puff game the last 2 years. Jamie ran it this year, and some of us football players coached in it, so that was a great way for us to get involved in the community. So as students, we have to design and come up with a plan that's going to make this kind of run. As for myself, I'm doing a lacrosse clinic for the youth. So as a football player and lacrosse player, I deal a lot with you know, on-field leadership, in the classroom leadership. But getting to work with the youth is something that obviously I don't get to do a lot. So being able to grow that skill this young is something I thought was fantastic. So. And being able to help the youth, you know, grow their skills was something that I love and enjoy. Was something that I couldn't really pass up on. And I think a lot of me and my buddies as well couldn't really pass up on that. As I said, it could be group work, so I'm doing it with me, Tyler Moo right here, and a couple other of my friends. You need to put 50 hours of work in, so setting it up all counts for that, planning it, you know, getting your resources. So as for myself, contacting the younger coaches, the younger grades, getting lacrosse balls to lacrosse goals, everything that might be necessary that you might need during one of these, during your project, you got to account for it, and that goes into management and stuff like that. So it's just a really great way to stay ahead on everything and kind of expand your leadership of all things. There you go.
Yeah, you did. Great job, Garrett. Garrett's running to a team dinner right now. Talk about balance, right? But he thought it was important to be here. He wanted to be a part of it. So I'll thank you again later. Thank you, Garrett. Okay. You know, Garrett's a great example of a student athlete, and yeah, just to highlight again, service learning project. This can be done independently. It can be done in a group situation. It can be done with kids in the program, out of the program. You might already have a lot of service in your life. You can keep going with that. Anything from after sophomore year to senior year counts towards the accruement of those hours. It could be one very large project. It could be a series of smaller projects. And we documented it along the way. We make a nice little e-portfolio with it. And there's reflection and there's skill development a lot. We have 2 SLP coordinators that help oversee that. They meet with students 3 times over the course of the project, so it's not like, hey, go do 50 hours, let me know when you're done. It's, you know, we sit down with them, they have meetings, what's your plan, how are you going to do that, what do you need to make sure that happens so that you can accomplish your goal, what happens when it fails, what happens when you thought you were going to get a call back and you don't get a call back, how are we going to handle that? So there's someone there to help guide them along the way. And for a lot of these kids, like, this is a very memorable part. This is like the heart of the CP, because they're finding out sometimes that helping others or doing something to have a positive impact on the community around them is something that makes them feel really good. And we're gonna have Radha come up next, right? All right, great, thanks, Radha.
Hello, my name is Radha Pillai, and I am a senior in the IBCP program, taking the Life and Health Sciences pathway. Actually, that's a picture of me doing my SLP project, where I was able to do art therapy with 70+ children and connect with them personally. I was able to combine my passion for the art and sciences together and contribute to the community. And I'll be specifically talking about the reflective project. So essentially, the reflective project is an ethical investigation of a research topic in your pathway, and you will be looking at different perspectives in that ethical issue and the decisions that different professionals or individuals took regarding the ethics in that issue. I think this altogether helps you better navigate through the college application process, because trust me, I just finished my college application essays and I have included the reflective project in my supplemental essays and discussed it, and it adds a lot of value and showcases your academic rigor as a student in high school. And it also puts you ahead of all the other students as you can gain insight in the potential major that you might pursue in college. I would also like to share my specific reflective project. I investigated how ethical it was to provide emergency services to third world countries during crises like the Ebola epidemic, the SARS virus, and the COVID-19. I looked at the perspectives of health professionals, government officials, and of course the vulnerable population. And this altogether inspired me to pick the public health trajectory in college. And it has provided me a clear vision of what I want to pursue in college. I feel I wouldn't have been in this position had I not done the IBCP program and the reflective project. And altogether, I think this is a stepping stone for your son or daughter to further explore an interested area of study in college. And if you don't like the pathway that you choose junior year, there is flexibility in this program. You can switch to a different potential pathway and choose a different interest that you want to look into and study. So, yeah. And I think the IBCP program and the components that shape it all together prepare you for the working environment.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Robin. Awesome job. Yeah, I definitely didn't know about public health, when I was a sophomore in high school, or everything that you just said, but it's amazing to see these kids, go and explore something that is interesting to them, that is an ethical issue. Almost every career major, almost every degree major has an ethics course in it, and this is gonna, play in very nicely, for that. Okay, this is where a lot of that research skill development is happening as well. You can see the requirements here: a 3,000-word essay, or a 2,000-word essay and a supplemental or an additional piece. It's a lot, for our students. They just got done with day 1 of their IB Writers Workshop. How are you guys feeling? Ready to go tomorrow morning? Tomorrow morning they have the second half of it. We like to build in different workshops over the course of the projects. So again, it's not like the kids are like, hey, go write a 3,000-word essay. Let me know when you're done. We are scaffolding that for them. We are giving them feedback. We are carving out time over the 2-year process for them to choose a great question, find resources that are going to work for them, and begin the drafting process. The language development portfolio is the final core requirement for the IBCP. This is embedded in a world language course that students take junior year. So essentially they are tracking their growth and their development in the study of that language. It's embedded in every world language class. We liked it so much, that we put it in all of the world language classes. Everybody's doing this. It's good practice. It's good, great opportunity for them to be able to talk about how they've grown, where their challenges are, and where they're doing really well. So the only additional piece here is 3 additional consultations with their world language teacher. So they set up a meeting with their world language teacher in October, February, and May. And they talk to them about how they're doing in that class. I feel like it's something we always need to do. We always say, like, hey, I should check in and see how I'm doing. But the reality of it is that unless there's a deadline, it gets pushed down, on that priority list. It's great for teachers because we get feedback from our kids. It's great for kids because they learn how to ask for feedback, right? So, whoops, all right. So here's the other big thing to think about. If you're interested in the IBCP, these are the pathways that we offer. So one of the first things that kids usually do, students here at West Morris that are interested in enrolling in the IBCP, is they choose one of the pathways that we have available. We have business, life and health sciences, STEM, visual and performing arts, and political science and law. Keep forgetting. Okay. we have a menu, essentially, of courses that students can choose from the different pathways to help fulfill their coursework requirements. What a lot of students say is that they were interested in taking some of these courses anyway, and so it's not as difficult to build them into their schedules. So you can see a couple different columns here, or a couple different areas. We've got purple, we've got a teal, and we've got a blue. Students have to take one of the courses from the non-IB section. So it's the purple or the teal. It doesn't matter if it's a semester or a full year course. Both of those count as one course. So you take one junior year, one senior year, and then you have to take one IB course from the pathway, either junior or senior year. So a total of 3 courses. I have kids in the program who take exactly 3 courses. I have kids in the program who take 5, 6 courses because they are really passionate about that subject area. So when Rada before spoke about the flexibility, this is what we're talking about here. Life and Health Science pathway is going to be great for anyone interested in any kind of medical profession. There's a lot of options here, and you can see that some have more options than others. That just depends on what courses we offer here at West Morris. So, Jamie, which of these courses did you take?
I took the forensics class, and then the anatomy and physiology class. I'm taking that right now. I took AP Physics last year, and I'm also taking Excel Psychology this year, and then Sports Exercise and Health Science this year.
All right, so Jamie's a great example of someone who's taken a bunch of these courses and a wide variety, really, of them are available here. STEM pathway, tons of options, lots of semester electives available. You might be looking at these and you're like, oh man, I already took that course. I'm taking that right now. Does this count? The answer is no, it doesn't count. You need to take another course. Okay, the good news is that if you're taking it and you like it, then maybe if you try something else, you will like that too, right? And maybe not, but at least you've tried it and you can say it, right? What's nice about this program is that, well, I think there's a lot of nice things. I'm biased. I think there's many great things about this, but you are building a nice schedule that is showing that you have taken an active role in exploring the major that you are sometimes applying to be accepted under. You're showing that I have tried these courses, and here's how I've done in them. You're taking that active role. Political science and law pathway. This is one of our newer, actually this is our newest pathway. So when we started this, we didn't have as many pathways. We had business, we had STEM, and we had life and health science. So political science and law is going to be great for obviously anyone interested in law or looking into politics, international relations. There's a lot that is again built in here in terms of our options. Visual and performing arts is again great for kids who are passionate about the arts. You can see that we not only include a lot of those courses on there, but we have music production and audio engineering. You see this intersection between visual and performing arts and maybe STEM or the business pathway. Public speaking is up there. Creative writing, entrepreneurship, right? We don't want artists to struggle to find jobs. We don't want that starving artist. We want a productive artist. We want someone who's going to be able to earn a living, okay, with their art and their passion and the skill set that goes along with it, right? So, in terms of what your schedule might look like, I'm not going to click on this here, but these slides will be shared out. Ms. Johnson and I will be going to the English classes and talking about these different programs, and we give out a forecast sheet there that helps, but it's just a way of organizing and planning your next 2 years to see if either one of these programs is going to fit well for you. This could be your schedule, but again, there's so much flexibility. We would be here all night if I put up so many options from every pathway. We're not obviously doing that, but I just want to show you
Again, you can keep your IRT in there, you can maybe take the English class you were going to take anyway, you can get those 4 years of math that Mr. Ferrari was talking about, and I just highlighted those would be courses that would fulfill or help fulfill that life and health science requirement in terms of the coursework. Okay? And then for a business pathway student, they might have exactly 3. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what that looks like. Again, tons of flexibility here in terms of what you would like to do. So what is the CP Core adding? Again, I've talked about these things. I'm not going to read off the slides, okay, but really emphasizing learning content, learning skills in that career interest area and reaching, hopefully, reaching in that interest area. That's why those IB courses are on there in that pathway. If you reach in an area of interest and strength, it's not the same workload. The work is the same, it doesn't feel the same, you know, because you're passionate about it and you're interested in it, right? So encouraging kids to do that is going to be something that pays off in the future. Leadership and project management skills, my juniors, my big, strong juniors, are engaging in a philanthropy project right now. They are running fundraisers. They are challenged beyond belief. They had these big dreams. They're like, we're going to run a 3-on-3 tournament. I'm going to run a 5K. They called the mayor. They were like, how do I do this? And then they realized like all the steps that you actually have to go through to pull that off. And they're like, all right, so maybe a bake sale isn't that bad, right? Maybe we can do that, you know? But they're learning those management skills because they're not just participating in these things, they are running these things. They are designing. That career pathway speaker series that you saw, our seniors ran that. Mr. Ehas and I reached out to people and then they ran the show. So it's great. If you have any questions about it, please reach out, let me know. I'm always happy to talk about it. But I'll stop because I will just keep talking. So I'm going to hand this over to Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Mrs. Bell. All right, so I'm going to speak about the DP now. All right, so the requirements for the DP are more rigorous. Not that the CP is not rigorous, but in regards to the types of classes that you have to take, the DP has more requirements. So this is an infographic that kind of shows that. Essentially, you have to take a language A course, which is literature, English, language B, which is a foreign language. Group 3 is individuals in society, so that's going to be more like history and those kinds of things. I'm going to get more into it in a moment. Experimental sciences, mathematics, and then a group 6. So you can choose an arts class or you can take one of another subject from groups 1 through 4. So, all right. So as I said, there's 6 areas of assessment. I'm going to explain what HL and SL means now. It means higher level and standard level in IB speak. They love acronyms. I know your brain's probably bouncing around with all the things we're telling you right now, but essentially higher levels are only assessed in the senior year. They're required to be 2-year courses. Standard levels may be 1 or 2 years. So we have many juniors that take their SL tests in their junior year. Some take 1, some take 2, some take none. I took none in my junior year. I took all my tests senior year. And essentially the way that breaks down is you can have a maximum of 4 HL tests and 2 SL tests, although most students do 3 and 3. So this is the more kind of, I think, better breakdown of what these courses look like. So for group 1, it's English literature. It's a class that your students would be taking anyway. Group 2 is your second language, so we offer Spanish and French at HL and SL, and we also offer Mandarin at SL. We have lots of group 3 courses up here, which are European history, world history, business management, research methods, and psychology, which is the 2-year course for psychology, misspellment, economics, environmental systems and society. Group 4, we have lots, bio, physics, chemistry, computer science. And then we have the SLs, which are design tech, sports, exercise, and health science. And you'll also see environmental systems and society. That's our only course that actually crosses into group 3 or group 4. So depending on how your student schedules, that can count as either. Group 5, we have mathematics, so those are the math courses that they'd be taking. And then group 6, which is not required, They can choose to take something, they can choose to take a 1 through 4, or they can also choose to take studio art, theater arts, film, which I teach, yes, and or music, yes. All right, I know I went through that really quickly, but I know you're all very tired, so again, these slides will be sent out to you, and please do not hesitate to reach out if you do have more questions about this. This is some sample student schedules for what they're basically going to take their tests in. So there is quite a bit of variety within that. As Mr. Ferrari pointed out in those initial slides, a lot of our more rigorous university admissions are looking for you to take 4 years of these courses anyway. So if that is your plan, I'm of the opinion, and our students are going to speak to you about this, that this might be the right program for you if you're planning on taking those courses anyway. However, there are additional core components, just as there are core components in the CP that we're going to speak about now. So the first person that I would like to have come up is my first scholar, Caroline Munley. She's going to speak about why she chose to do the diploma program.
Hi everybody. My name is Caroline Munley and I am a current senior DP candidate. And I just want to talk to you guys about why I specifically chose DP instead of CP or just over taking some AP classes. So I'm sure you guys all immediately jumped to the transactional value of some of these courses. What college credits can I get? How is this going to help me in college? And yes, that's all a part of this program, but it is really more than that. You gain so much from this program that you might not get elsewhere. Like they have all touched on, you have to take 4 years of all these classes. And so you get to expand your knowledge base and how different interdisciplinary subjects can connect and how everything can help you later in life, whether you might not see that right now, even though you're a sophomore, kind of thinking life ahead. So, as we've all discussed, this program is pretty rigorous. And as a student who has had a few challenges and faced the highs and lows of this program myself, I am here to say that everybody in this school is here to support you on those highs and on those lows. I have personally, changing my EE my senior year and having all the support of Miss Johnson and everybody around us in the school saying, yes, you can do this. It might be daunting, it might be scary, but they're all here to help you. Nobody is ever going to make you feel low or like you can't do this, because you all can. So the one thing that I find really unique about this program, especially I am currently in the HL applications class, and we're working on our IAs. So an IA is an internal assessment, that will go and it will be a part of your IB score if you do choose to take the test if you're in one of these programs. So I find really interesting how it is able to connect with my interests, not just the curriculum that is being taught to me at the same time. Something that I'm really interested in is motorsports and racing. So I was actually able to, in communication with my teacher, start creating and crafting my IA around motorsports and how something that I am so passionate about can fit with the curriculum that I'm learning about, and as somebody that wants to go into mechanical engineering, how it can help me in college. So, like I touched on, this program's not all transactional. Students come out of the program not merely as learners, but I would like to say global citizens. As we all learned, TOK is a class that teaches you all about ethics and culture and everything around you in the world that you don't learn about in your normal classes. TOK, honestly, is one of my favorite subjects, just because once a week I get to get out of my gym class or my health class, and yes, that is fun. But you get a wider world perspective that I think is really important to moving forward in life. You need to have a well-rounded perspective and how other people might not come from the same backgrounds as you, and you need to understand that in order to not only help your future career, but also just help you as a person. Also, this commitment to well-rounded education ensures that students are well prepared for the challenges that lie ahead. The extended essay and theory of knowledge allow you to explore your research options rather than learning those skills in college, and your analytical skills, essential for success in your higher education. And back to the traditional aspect, as Mr. Ferrari touched on just a little bit, you are required to take 4 years of English and languages and all those core subjects the colleges already want to see. So for me, it was kind of a no-brainer, just because you're taking this. For me, I was a higher level student, so I was already going to take these classes, and why not get the benefit of being a more well-rounded student while also getting my IB diploma?
Thank you, Caroline. So the next thing that our next core requirement that we're going to talk about is, again, another acronym, CAS. It stands for Creative Action and Service Hours, and I'm going to invite Tyler Wu to come speak about CAS.
Hi, my name is Tyler Wu. I'll talk a little bit about the CAS, which Ms. Johnson said was Creativity, Action, and Service. What I like about CAS is it really gives you that hands-on experience to explore what you're passionate about. So for me, one of the things was action. I like to highlight what I did with football and lacrosse, and I like to highlight how all those things help me reflect on what I've done and personally grown. So you can set goals for yourself. One of the goals I set was to make varsity my junior year, and that was one of the goals I set, and I was able to work through that, highlight how I worked through that, and this is one of the goals I set. And the coordinator that will help you with CAS is Mrs. Olson. If you ever need a question, she's always there to help you, whether it's writing or about your logging, about the CAS thing, so anything like that is really helpful. And another thing is the CAS project. It's kind of similar to the service learning project, but it's something that allows you to explore something you're passionate about. I was doing the lacrosse clinic with Garrett, and I just love being able to collaborate with other people and build relationships with coaches and anything that can happen to really set up those events. And you can help it with a nonprofit, use it with charities, anything like that is really helpful to get those hands-on experiences and explore your passions. And everyone's always here to help you. You're having so many people around you. This is one of the reasons why I did the IB diploma program.
Thank you, Tyler. Tyler's also going to a team dinner. Thank you, Tyler. You're awesome. Have fun. Just one more little thing about CAS. What we often see, and the reason that this is a requirement for the diploma program is because we often find that, students get so involved in their studies, or they're so involved in athletics, or they're so involved in their art programs, or they're so involved in service that sometimes some of these other really important things kind of fall to the wayside. And so the IB requires that our students become very well-rounded, having 50 hours in, say, Tyler might be somebody who doesn't do as many creative pursuits, so it's kind of forcing him out of his comfort zone to do more art projects and those kinds of things and discover some stuff. Okay, next up is the extended essay, so I'm going to invite Grace Baker to come speak about the extended essay. Thank you, Grace.
Hi, my name is Grace Baker, and I'm a senior in the IB Diploma program, and I'm going to talk to you about the extended essay, which is a 4,000-word research paper on any topic of your choice. And I know 4,000 words, including me, I was very scared of that limit at first, but everyone finds, and everyone that I know is going over the word limit and having trouble keeping it all in, because you get to choose something that you're super passionate about and interested in, so it makes it super easy. And you choose a mentor of your choice within the school that's an expert in your chosen subject. So for me, I'm doing an English extended essay, so I chose one of my favorite English teachers to work with. And you get 18 months to write the paper, so the length is really not a problem. And it's a super long deadline to follow, but I feel that the program does a really good job at having loose deadlines to prevent you from procrastinating, because it often does get pushed to the back burner because you have so much stuff going on. I know me personally, I do a lot of clubs and activities within the school, and I'm also involved in varsity field hockey. So it was always hard to balance that, but the loose deadlines make sure that you're not procrastinating it and putting it off until your senior year. The extended essay also gave me an opportunity to explore a topic I'm really interested in, which is English, that isn't necessarily within my career interests in college because I want to study business. And it's something that you wouldn't get out of papers that you write in school, because I got the chance to explore 2 books that I'm super interested in, which are I chose The Handmaid's Tale and Fahrenheit 451, which are 2 dystopian novels. And I feel that in school we don't cover those usually, so I got to explore those and I was super interested in it. And just to use my essay as an example, I looked at how the main characters in those books used rebellion to develop their identities that were either completely taken away or restricted by the dystopias that they're in. And I saw different patterns and how they each follow a progression of 3 stages. And I actually applied this to other books that I'm reading right now in school too. So it was super helpful just with my other classes too. The EE also helped me to become a better writer because of the planning and question